Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Kimberly Washington, tax analyst with Forbes Advisor, a trusted destination for unbiased personal finance advice, news, and reviews to discuss how 2022 taxes will be different. Kimberly, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. And there were several tax law changes in 2021, which will affect most Americans this coming tax season. Let's start with child tax credit payments. How do you expect that to impact refunds?
Right. So this is a really big deal. So many individuals, they're going to receive a letter in the mail if they received the child tax credit payments last year. You want to use that letter and actually use it when you file your tax return. That's because you need to report any amounts that you received last year, and you want to reconcile it when filing this year. The biggest thing, the way that's going to impact your tax refund is that if you are entitled to more child tax credit payments this year, you actually boost your tax refund. So that's the biggest thing. So you want to make certain that you use the letter that you receive from the IRS, or even better yet, check with the IRS online to make sure the information in the letter is correct.
What is the recovery rebate tax credit for stimulus payments?
Right, this is not a big deal for many different people. So if you're someone who received the stimulus payment last year, that's the third stimulus payment, and you received a partial payment, or maybe you didn't receive it at all, you can claim the recovery rebate tax credit on your tax return this year. So if you're looking to actually boost your tax refund and you know you didn't receive that payment, you do want to file for the recovery rebate tax credit. And this is even in a case if you're someone who's not required to file a tax return.
What if you do not receive stimulus or child credit payments? Will your returns be impacted in any way?
Well, it really does depend. It definitely depends on what type of payment you did receive. It's number one, when it comes to child tax credit, you do need to report any payments you received. If you didn't receive anything at all and you do qualify, you actually can file and claim that credit this year. When it comes to the stimulus, it really depends on your personal situation. Again, if you only receive partial or maybe nothing at all, what's going to happen? You're going to claim it. But if you're someone who did receive a stimulus payment, it's not taxable, and there's really not much you need to do when it comes to your taxes this year.
And I also read in your note that itemized charitable donations have been changed for 2021. What's the significance of not having to itemize?
Right. So this is a big deal for some people. Of course, it's not going to make a big deal on your taxes, but it is something that you want to be aware of. So if you're someone who gives to a charitable organization, if you give up to an amount of $300, if you're someone who's single, you can actually claim that on your tax return without itemizing this year. If you're married, you can actually claim up to $600. So those are some things you do want to keep in mind when filing your taxes this year.
And Kimberly, to wrap up here, if you are unsure, if this is all confusing to you, are there resources that you can access via the IRS to help you through this process?
Right, that's a really good question, because many people are saying, okay, this is a really challenging year and there's so many different changes. I would suggest you go to irs.gov. You can utilize some resources there. One of the resources you can utilize within your area is called the VITA program. That's a volunteer income tax assistance program. And you can actually have someone to prepare your taxes for free. Of course, you do need to qualify. Your income has to be about less than $73,000. So that is something you want to do, keep in mind, but head over to the irs.gov to find out, of course, more information in your area.
All right, Kimberly, we appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.